Nantucket's an island, and it is absolutely defined by the sea.
Everyone, when they first learn about Nantucket, you learn that it's a Native American word. It means faraway place.
You feel the past, you feel a presence. Nantucket does transport you in a way. People talk about ghosts on Nantucket, and that may be a kind of manifestation of the sense that on this very confined space, there are forces that come to us from around the world, and they come to the vortex of this little island.
Nantucket was formed by a glacier 20,000 years ago. 6,000 years ago, the ocean cuts Nantucket off from the mainland.
And that's when the magic begins. The waves begin to sculpt the island into a gradually emerging half-moon shape.
So we're just standing on 1,200 feet of sand. So the island itself is very shifty. You know, it's not going to be here forever.
I think historically, Nantucket is just a wonderful metaphor for the American experience. That people shoved off from that island and got in their small boats and then in their larger boats and then in their ships and put to sea and went whale hunting clear around the globe into the Pacific. Nantucketers were frontiersmen and they were westering before the first covered wagon went out.
Gradually they push it a little farther until they're going out into the Gulf Stream. And then they go up almost to the Arctic Circle, to the west coast of Africa, down around Cape Horn into the Great Pacific. So then by the 1830s and 40s, Nantucket was the whaling center of the world. And it only lasted for a little more than a century, but it's really what has determined so much of what Nantucket is today.
I think you can really think of Nantucket as kind of a place where the American experiment, is possible in kind of a controlled environment. Nantucketers tried farming here, didn't work. They reinvented themselves, they tried whaling. That failed, ultimately, so they reinvented themselves. They tried resort in our colony, a place to come and restore yourself, restore your spirits. That did work, and that is continuing to this day. And I think that it's a place where you can experiment, fail, and try again. You can create yourself and you can recreate yourself here.
Nantucket has always lived on borrowed time. It was created by the sea. In as little as a couple of hundred years will be taken by the sea. And as a consequence, it's truly a different kind of island. And it has something to do with the forces of an island 30 miles out to sea that has been the basis of things that are rich, strange, and that really foretell in many ways, I think, whatever the future will be. And that's the great mystery we all have lurking.
Men have been whaling for thousands of years. Norwegians were among the first to hunt whales as early as 4,000 years ago. However, the Japanese may have been doing so even earlier. Traditions as varied as the Inuit who hunted the Arctic Ocean, the Basque who hunted the Atlantic, and Japanese who hunted the Pacific, relied on whales to provide material goods as well as part of their cultural identity. Nearly every part of the whale was used. Meat, skin, blubber, and organs were eaten as an important source of protein, fats, vitamins and minerals. Baleen was woven into baskets and used as fishing line. In warmer climates, baleen was also used for roofing material. Bones were used primarily for tool making and carving ceremonial items such as masks. During the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, whaling gained popularity throughout northern Europe. Whale oil and baleen, sometimes called whalebone, although it's not a bone at all, were valuable commodities. Whale oil comes from the blubber of right and bowhead whales, and the head of cavity of sperm whales was used primarily for oil lamps. Corsets and hoop skirts were constructed from the whalebone. Over time, European whaling ventures spread to North America. American colonists relied on whale oil to light most of their lamps. By the mid-1700s, it became increasingly difficult to find whales near the Atlantic coast. The American whaling fleet expanded its operation throughout the world's oceans, including the whale-rich waters of the Arctic and Antarctic. Whaling in the United States hit its peak in the mid-1800s. New technologies included gun-loaded harpoons and steamships made the whalers around the world more efficient. The American whaling fleet, based on the East Coast, operated hundreds of ships in the South Atlantic, Pacific and Indian Oceans. Whaling was a multi-million-dollar industry, and some scientists estimate that more whales were hunted in the early 1900s than in the previous 4 centuries combined. Eventually, kerosene, petroleum and other fossil fuels became much more popular and reliable than a whale oil. The industry plummeted. By the 1970s, the United States had listed 8 whales as endangered species. The US officially outlawed whaling in 1971. In 1946, several countries joined to form the International Whaling Commission, or IWC. The IWC's purpose was to prevent overhunting of whales. Its original regulations, however, were loose and quotas were high. Whale stocks continued to decline. The IWC eventually established whaling-free sanctuaries in the Indian Ocean in 1979, the ocean surrounding Antarctica 1994. The IWC called for a moratorium on commercial whaling in 1982. Both Japan and Norway voted against this policy. Today, Norway supports hunting minke whales for meat. Japan allows whaling for scientific purposes, although many experts question if more whales are taken than are necessary. Meat from whales killed for research is sold as food. Many species of whale have benefited from the IWC's moratorium. Dave Weller, a research biologist at the NOAA Southwestern Fisheries Science Center in La Jolla, California, says the eastern Pacific grey whale population has recovered. I think there is a pretty good evidence that the moratorium on hunting has allowed certain populations to recover from depleted status when they were being whaled, he says. According to Weller, the IWC's moratorium on whale hunting is one of 2 major steps the organisation is taking. The other thing that the IWC has very successfully done is to collect information and provide analysis of data to help us understand the status of various populations that in some cases we knew very little about, he says. Despite the general moratorium, limited whaling is still permitted to indigenous cultures. In the United States, the Inuit Eskimos in the North Slope of Alaska, in Barrow, Alaska, still hunt for bowhead whales. Weller says there is request by a Maca Indian tribe, which is in northern Washington state, to resume grey whale hunting, which they had traditionally done, but that's pending deliberations right now. Maka, the tribe of the sea. The sea plays a large role in the cultural and history of the Maka people. Native to the Pacific coast of the US state of Washington, skilled mariners, the Maka carved specific canoes for each task: war, whaling, salmon fishing, sealing, and transporting cargo. Each required a different canoe. In 1855, devastated by successive outbreaks of smallpox and facing pressure from the US government, the Maka signed the Treaty of Near Bay. Among other things, the treaty protected the tribe's whaling rights for the future generations in exchange for 300,000 acres of tribal land. As of 2011, the NOAA is considering allowing Maka to conduct limited hunting of the western Pacific grey whale. As I previously said, at the beginning of the history of whaling, whaling has been going on for thousands and thousands of years, and it is part of many different countries' cultural and identity as to what they do. Being a zoologist, first things you learn about is the actual protection of all fauna and flora, and with that in mind, I definitely don't think that whaling should still be continuing in the modern age, even though the whale populations have increased, but that's not the world over. There has been some significant improvements in the size of the stock of whales in certain parts of the world, but not enough to warrant a new age of whaling on a commercial basis. That said, I was looking out, after thinking about the book and everything else, I was just looking out for a topic for another new inspirational diorama, and I came across a very, very good modelling friend who, once I saw this diorama, I'm like, wow. So from Per Olav Lund came up with a diorama that the moment I saw it, I was like, yeah, this is one of the best whale hunting in a diorama that I have ever seen. And I've waited a while to be able to put this together and get it out there on a video, as it seriously is amazing work. It's not a guy who's gone out and bought a boat and bought figures, and I mean, he's done everything from scratch. So please take your time going through the actual diorama pictures, which there are a number of. There's also a middle section where basically I've picked out some of his work that was in progress and put it together so that you can actually see the sculpturing or parts of the diorama coming together and a story being told. So I'm just going to put on some music and leave you guys, girls, just to look and enjoy what is a spectacular inspirational diorama. AD Roberts from In War and Peace. I would very much like to thank Per Olav Lund for this stunning diorama. What else has really pleased me about this whole diorama is that you can see from the middle section the amount of work that Per's put into this diorama, and right here at the end, right now, you can see the rewards that he has got from this, like I keep saying, stunning diorama. Congratulations, Per. You deserve it. If you have enjoyed this video, then please press like, subscribe, share, and by word of mouth tell all your friends about In War and Peace. Like I said, I'm AD Roberts from In War and Peace, and just leaves me to say, wherever you are, be safe, much magic, and of course, happy modelling. Until next time, the end.